So we have shown before the forge foil, which is, it's an old Mama Aleene technique. It's where you put the aluminum foil onto boxes or cardboard and whatever, and you antique it with black, and then you get the look of actually where the metal has been, where it's been forged.
It's a timeless technique.
So I went from there and I made this really cool ornament bird, but oh, you just have to see what I did, because it really was a surprise, even to me, when I was working on it. For this project, I'm using the Aleene's original Tacky glue in the gold bottle. I found that it is an all-purpose glue, but it really works well for having the foil a little bit sturdier. And that's what I'm using. I'm using aluminum foil. It's just regular kitchen aluminum foil. So I measure a sheet, probably the width of the foil by the same width of, like a square. And what you're going to do is you're going to crinkle it all up. And then you open it up like this. You know, I just take a rolling pin. You could also take a bottle, a jar, anything just to flatten it out. Next, I want to color it. I want to put a little bit of a black acrylic paint on so that it antiques it. It just tones it down. I have a little bit of water here. I have a cosmetic sponge with a little bit of black paint. I'm going to put a little bit of water because I want it to be watered down a little bit. I'm just going to brush that, or take the sponge and just put it over the whole surface. And you can see how it changes the color. It tones it down completely. That makes it a little bit more antique, or like metal, used metal. Next, I'm using the alcohol inks. And I just drip them around. And if you have too much, again, you can just kind of go through it. But usually they just spread out. And this is what you'll have when you're done. One whole side is all covered. Okay, we're going to turn it over. And I have an old Christmas ornament and a wooden ball. And this one happens to be a flat wooden ball. I've glued it to the top. I took off the cap to the ornament. I've glued it to the top and I let it dry. And you can use any size. Here's another one. Put that there for a second, because now we need to put the glue on here. I use a cardboard squeegee it so it's even across the whole piece of the back side of that foil that we just colored. Oops. Now, the head's going to go in the middle. And just start working with it. Work around the head first. And keep this part out here, because this is going to be the tail. You can see the wings are here. Here's another wing starting here. And just keep working with it. Go to the back of it, the bottom of it. You want as much up into the wings as you can get. And then I just start to shape them up against the body. Now, if there's no glue in here, then we're going to put a little bit, and that'll help them to stay up. And don't worry about any of the seams, because I'll show you what we're going to do with that in just a second. And just keep working with it. Now this is the great thing about the Aleene's Tacky glue, the original Aleene's Tacky glue in the gold bottle. When these dry, they seem like they're a little bit flexible right now. When they dry, it is so much stronger. It's so cool. It's like magic that it gets strong and firm for your wings. Okay, we're going to set that aside to dry. We want the wings to dry up like that. And you can see now the form. Make sure that you do have more pieces, all your underneath pieces, pushed in as much as you can. And here's one that's already dry that I've shaped, and I've got everything glued. Now here's where any of these seams, this is where the fun comes in, because you can take just some scrapbooking paper, and I have some pieces here that have like a double side, and I found one thing that I love the print on this side, but it's very, very thick, so I try and remove part of that back layer because I want it to be a little bit thinner so that it'll go around the edges. So try and remove, if you have one that's that double thickness, try and get that off. It's really cool when you're scrapbooking, but when you go to use it for like collage, not as cool. Take your squeegee again, put glue on the back of the paper, and then this is where it helps to connect the different, like the wing to the body. Over here, you can see where it didn't quite glue, so I'm going to put another little piece here. And then you just put pieces where you want them. You know, right here I need a piece, back here. And here's my bird completely done. Now, I found that it was, for me, it was a little bit too flat, so I decided to put some wire and beads. So I just took some decorative wire and added some beads, wrapped it around. And then for my nest, I shredded some of the paper, and this is the paper, this scrapbooking paper. I shredded some of the foil, and I glued it on top of a clothespin so that it can go right on the tree. And then I had some little half beads that make perfect eyeballs. And then the beak, the coolest part of all, when I use my sponges and they have the acrylic paint on them, I usually am not very good about drying them off. So when they dry, they get really hard. So I just chopped off the bottom part of this into a cone shape, and then I just put a little bit of silver. So the beak is just part of the facial sponge. And that's all there is to it to make your eco-friendly forged foil bird.
So the biggest surprise to me was how you actually used the foil for the wings and the tail.
That was a surprise to me.
That was just the big aha.
It was. I had no idea. It's funny too because I started out with a flat bird, and you know we've talked about before how many times we have to go through process to get what we actually want.
Oh my gosh! As designers, a lot of people don't realize how many steps you go through to get this. It started out flat.
Mm-hmm. It started out flat. I actually still have that in my. You know what? We're going to put that in the almost daily.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We'll show what the first creative thought was of Heidi's.
And then I thought, no, that's just not. It's not me. It's just flat. So then I thought, well, what can I do with the the roundness and everything? And actually, when I was forming it, is where I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I came running out to Tiffany after I was gone, and she's just like, oh my God, it's just so cool.
And it wasn't actually until I saw your demo when I went, oh my gosh, I thought this was cool, but this is really, really cool. So,
it just was the neatest thing that just happened. It's just one of those things that happened.
Well, it's so funny when I watched Heidi's demo and I first saw her folding the foil in half, and I thought, it looks like an angel. And so you're going to have to try that, but not even realizing, oh yeah, she has to use all of that excess foil.
Yeah.
So anyway, I can go on and on raving about that.
It was fun.
It was that I love that project. That was a brilliant Eco Heidi design.
Thank you. Yeah, I did recycle too.
Yes.
We forget about that.
But you can use the mache balls if you don't have an ornament that you want to recycle.
Right, but yeah, everybody has it. In fact, garage sales, there's
As I say, if you say everybody has them, I don't.
But I'm sure you could find one in my craft shop.
I think so.
Heidi's personal craft shop.
I think so.